Hello family, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, I'm Mesinobi, a product designer. Do you know a study of 150 people found out that the average smartphone user unlock their phone 110 times a day? Also, 79% of smartphone users check their devices within 15 minutes after waking up every morning. Let's face it, we are hooked. In today's review, we'll be talking on hooked. How to build habit forming products by Nair. A hook is an experience designed to connect your user problem to your product with enough capacity to form a habit. And through these successful circles, this is how customer preferences are formed, how tastes are also formed, and how this habit takes hold. We see how this product, these devices have profoundly changed our day-to-day lives. And if we want to become world class, actually, like in changing behaviors for the better, at creating customer habits, we have to look at the best in this business field, in our industries. And these companies that were able to start out as ordinary, everyone looked down on them at first, and yet within the span of 5 to 10 years, the companies have changed behaviors of hundreds of millions of people, ranging to billions of people, and they are making hundreds of billions, ranging to billions of dollars. We see companies like Amazon, Google, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, WhatsApp, Snapchat, Slack, YouTube. All these companies started out as ordinary, and in the span of very short period of time, they changed the lives of millions, billions of people, and they did it largely because they mastered the change of consumers' habits. We'll be learning the patterns behind how these companies design their user experience, so we can also incorporate these lessons into our product and services. The hook circle consists of 4 frameworks that are required to build a habit forming product. The 4 frameworks are trigger, action, variable reward, and investment. Trigger. In order to engage a consumer for the first time, you need a trigger. And trigger is something that prompts the consumer to take action. We have 2 types of trigger. We have the external trigger and the internal trigger. External trigger is something in our environment that tells us what to do next, like a call to action, right? A button that says maybe push here, an email invite, right? Or a friend telling you to do something, to apply for something, or something you should try out. We use external triggers every day as a consumer, right? And we design them as a designer also. Why the internal trigger comes from the consumers themselves, because the information of what to do is stored in the user's head. So most frequently when we experience certain emotions, it prompts us to certain actions. The most frequently occurring triggers are specifically negative emotions, and what we do when we experience these negative emotions prompt us to actually look for relief from our discomfort. And it turns out that people who experience negative emotion states, they feel down more often than the rest of the population. And what they do to post their mood is most times going online, right, checking their devices, checking email, if anyone drop message, and they do this thing, chatting people up more often than the rest of the population. We actually all do this. I think some days ago something happened, and the next thing I did was to go online to check my email. So I was like, wow, so this thing happens. Yeah. Every behavior that we do, every behavior our user does, every human behavior is prompted by one thing, right? That is the desire to escape discomfort. The next framework, which is action. Action is the simplest behavior done in anticipation of a reward. That means it's the simplest thing a user can do to get a relief from psychological discomfort. So it can be as simple as clicking a link, scrolling on Pinterest, or searching on Google, push the play button on YouTube. These are all done in anticipation of an immediate reward. A researcher at Stanford named BJ Fogg stated that For every behavior to occur, we need sufficient motivation. And what is motivation? Motivation is energy for action. That means how much we want to do a particular behavior. For a behavior to occur, we need sufficient motivation, ability, and trigger. When we talk about reward, we talk about the brain. Ooh. A study was done by two Canadian researchers named Old and Miller within a specific area of the brain called nucleus accumbens. They connected to the brain of lab animals with a tiny electrolyte, and they let the lab animals, push a little button to send electrical signal to this part of the brain. They found out that this lab animal wanted to do nothing but keep on activating this part of the brain over and over again, and they forgo water, they forgo food. They just want to keep this part of the brain active. Always active. And a later experiment done on people, they also found that similar pattern. Our nucleus accumbens is activated every single time with things like luxury goods, certain chemical, sex, junk food, and at the center of everything, technology. So all of these things activate this very same part of the brain. Accumbens activate what we call the stress of desire. There's this one thing, this craving, the craving reflex, because it turns out that the nucleus accumbens actually become the most active in anticipation of a reward. And when we finally get this reward that we're talking about, it will make us happy, it makes us feel good, but at that point the nucleus accumbens becomes less active at that point that we achieve that particular reward. So the way the brain gets us to act is by creating this itch we seek to scratch. Reward needs to be variable in order to hook a consumer into a circle and form an habit. Otherwise, the consumer we start anticipating the reward and eventually just lose interest and does not come back. Variability actually causes us to focus and engage, and it comes as a result of a study done by B.F. Skinner. He did an experiment where he took pigeons and kept them in a box, and there was these dicks. Every time they peck at it, they receive a little reward. B.F. Skinner later learned that you could train the pigeon to actually peck when they are hungry, and if there's no any internal trigger of hunger, you can't make them do that. So there's something that requires them petting. There's an hunger in the land. So later along the experiment, he had an issue, which the food palette was not much again. So you had to give them the food palette once in a while, and he noticed that when he started giving them at variable, the speed increased because they didn't know when they were to receive the next food palette. So why does this happen? Because variability spike activity in the nucleus accumbens, and it creates this desired response, right? So we often see this in sort of products. We find it most engaging, and it's actually most habit forming product. There are three kinds of reward. There's reward of the tribe, there is reward of the hunt, and there's reward of self. Reward of the tribe is more of social reward, in which you feel good that this thing is coming from other people. Reward of the hunt is more when you buy things with your money. Example is slot machine, gambling sites, casinos. We know that most of these slot machine, the idea is not for them to give you the money or the gambling. No, it's the casino themselves that will actually carry all the money. But the idea of, okay, let me see if I will win. So that variability would allow people play more and keep playing till they drop. So when it comes to technology or when it comes to product, mobile phone is more like the feeds. Example is LinkedIn, where we scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. We see that, okay, if the first post we don't really like it, okay, we don't like the second post, the third one or the fourth one will be interesting. We are just scrolling, right? Even example 2 is on Pinterest. Pinterest, we may not like the first design. What am I saying? Pinterest, you just want to scroll. Just want to go. If you scroll to the end of Pinterest, you will see that the pictures there are cut and you just want to like view it, so you have to like scroll up again before you know you're seeing other things below. And you want to scroll. It's the same exact psychology when it comes to slot machine. Reward of self. These are the things that make us feel better when we go in search of mastery, consistency. You find this is more like finding to play games online where you win levels. You go to other levels, like Candy Crush game, where you play games and you want to go to the next level. You're so focused, you're so consistent and everything. There's something so beautiful about the next accomplishment, and this is how we get hooked, this product. So the last but not the least is investment. Investment is more like a form of personal contribution. It makes the consumer work a little more and store value in your product actually. So this will make them stay with you, and it will show that we kind of value our work much more than what it actually worth. A consumer investment in a product actually increases its value. It's called the IKEA's effect. This furniture company in which they make you arrange your furniture yourself, and you believe that me arrange this thing is okay, and you add your price, like it will skyrocket even more than what you think is necessary, right? Because it was your own sweat, it was your own effort that made it stand like that. Just like LinkedIn is not just a platform in which you get your job position. It's more like a platform in which people tend to share ideas, share insights on this and that. People actually give more attention to all these kind of platform. It makes it habit forming product, and this is why people are actually hooked to this kind of product, because it makes them do this particular behavior over and over again, and it makes it easier. So the easier it becomes, the more likely we are to do it in the future. So this is why these habits have a more repeater effect. So people will come back again, come back to them. And believe me sincerely, Hooked is a very nice book. It's for business people, it's for marketers, it's for startup companies, it's for designers, it's for product designers, to bring your ideas to life. You're actually designing product that would actually catch the user, that will actually catch the consumer. The hook model, they were able to catch their emotions, they were able to catch how that they would give their all to something they work on. So that's why you see all this product. You see TikTok is an example. So thank you for watching till the end. Thank you very much. So tell me what you've learned in the comment section, and see you same time next week. Bye for now.